So we know in Battletech it's all about the modifiers. There's this internal struggle going on with the targeting computers, with the mech warriors, with mech command. I am trying to keep my modifiers down when I'm shooting in terms of range, in terms of direct versus indirect, in terms of walking versus running, while my opponent is trying to jack those modifiers up. They're trying to force me to run or jump, to add that. They're trying to keep me at long range. There's this duality back and forth. And while one can only control so much, and the tactica of the mission might control other points, a perfect example might be the mission is down to the wire, and that light mech needs to cap that objective and needs to stand on that objective no matter what. They're not going to be running. They're not going to be moving. So maybe I can go prone or try to duck behind something, but there are times where the mission is going to help make things easier or make things much harder. But the question for this vlog, taking all those variables into consideration, generally speaking, do I not want to run? If I am a heavy or assault class mech, mediums could be on the fence. You know, I find, on a side note, with medium mechs, lower end tonnage medium mechs kind of need to take a page from the light mech tactica playbook, and the heavier spectrum tonnage medium mechs, they're almost like mini-me heavy mechs on there. I think there's a big spread as we move up in the double digits. But the question is, if you're on the heavier tonnage side, then I very rarely want to run. Your thoughts on that? Now, this is my qualifier just to kind of open up the mech discussion. As a light mech, I'm always running. I'm always trying to jump. Yes, it makes things much harder for me to hit. It adds that, +1, +2, +3, but I need to stay alive. Armor is secondary. Armor on a light mech is you really kind of screwed things up and you got hit, you got tagged. Hopefully you just lost an arm, you pick it up and you keep running and gunning. And light mechs don't have the firepower of a heavy or assault class mech. Even very, very specialized light mechs like the Panther that has a PPC and other ones that mount heavier than average weapons for their class, they don't have the boom boom to make that happen. And I was just going to say, I can't believe this. An autocannon 20 light mech, does one exist? And my brain was like, no. And then it's like, wait, Urban Mech, I play the Duke of Death. All I do is play the autocannon 20 variant. Honor demands it. The lulls on the table demand it. But that's another example of a very specialized mech. But I think we can agree, even mechs that have heat issues like the Warhammer, at the higher end spectrum of heavies and assaults, we have all these weapons. I want to get up there and I want to fire as many weapons as I can. I just want to open up on your mech and fire. So from that perspective, if I run, that adds to the modifier. I want to walk, or I don't want to move at all. And I say walk because at least I have some maneuverability in terms of the range band to hopefully be in range, first of all, long range, or maybe drop from medium to short. I do want to get as close as possible so I can utilize all those weapons. But as a heavy mech, it's different. We're on the opposite side of the hex maps and we're running forward because we're trying to close or we're trying to cap an objective or we're trying to get to some key terrain. That's different. But as we engage, I'm really kind of thinking about past games. I kind of start walking because I want to cut those modifiers down. That makes it harder for me to hit. That makes it easier for you to hit me because I'm not stacking up the hexes that I move. But, am I really losing that much? I know every +1 or -1 counts, but am I really losing that much? And I do have the armor. I do have the armor that I can soak. So it's more important that I hit you. That's kind of the thought process. So in keeping the modifiers that I can control in terms of walk, run, and jump, as heavies and assaults, do you ever really find yourself running when you're locked in really, really close, getting rear armor or trying to get to a specific side? It's about the running. Or it's about the not moving and the torso twist from that perspective. Tactica, your thoughts?